Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 294th District Court. My name is Chris Mark. I'm going to call this morning's criminal docket. When you hear your name, please say present or here. Kaylin Cheatham, Tammy Crocker, Michelle Daly, Nicholas Duncan, here. Christian Early, Savion Kellum, Kyle Holland, here. Max Juarez, Max Alexander Juarez, Mario Martinez, Guy McSpadden, Guy Ezekiel McSpadden, Lena Price, Keith Pryor, CR 15322. I will recall that case. Shacole Sampson, Shacole Moniz Sampson, Keith Thomas, Caleb Waller. I have a note that Mr. Waller may be experiencing car trouble. I'll recall his case. Brandy Michelle Chevalier, cause number CR 18467. I believe the state has filed a motion to dismiss on that. Court's going to grant that, and that will dispose of Ms. Chevalier's case. Ian Gray. Thank you, Ms. Waller. Lloyd Hallbrook. Thank you, Mr. Crawford. James Godwin. Juan Wilkins. Bennett Watts. Present with counsel. Thank you, Mr. Millsager. Damon Watson. Here. Robert Burke. Here. With counsel. Thank you, Mr. Rosenstein. Wyatt Berkwin, CR 24128. We have him verified in the TDC Kyle unit. I'll recall that, Mr. Schmidt. Trevion Bowie, CR 24198. He is verified in custody in Smith County. We'll recall that case. Roderick Bradley, Claude Brown, Tammy Cocaine. Here. Christopher Crutcher. Here you are. John Dickerson. Here. Jeremy Estridge. Here. Shunta Foster, CR 24164. She's verified in custody in Gregg County. We'll recall that case. Fernando Hernandez. Braxton Johnson. Here. Jesus Landa. Harold Morgan. 130. Anthony Murray. Show that Mr. Murray is in federal custody. We'll recall that case. Adam Scott. Here. Michael Tuff. Michael Cole Tuff. Ray Williams. Ray Anthony Williams. Late. Rontrell King. Michael Shelton. Joshua Hogue. Yes. Thank you, Mr. White. And lastly, Corey Kimball. Thank you, Mr. White. Is there anyone in the courtroom and I've not called your name? All right, I'll get you written in there. Anyone else? Your name's not been called?
Juarez came in after you called them.
Juarez. right, we have any counsel that's ready? Ms. Brumlow, are you ready? Yes. Ian Gray, if you'll come forward, CR 2499. This is cause number CR 24-99, State of Texas versus Ian Perry Gray. Mr. Gray, I'm resetting your pretrial to April 10th at 9 a.m. Once you sign and get your notice, you're free to go. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Ms. Rowland. Have any other counsel that's ready? Yes. Mr. Rosenstein, you ready? Yes. Robert Burke, CR 24-199. Mr. Burke, if you'll come forward to the podium. All right, this is cause number CR 24-199, State of Texas versus Robert Michael Burke. Mr. Burke, I'm resetting your case for docket call, a final docket call on April 10th. On that date, I'll expect to hear whether or not we have a plea agreement. We're either entering a plea agreement or we're setting it for trial, bench trial or jury trial. You will not go to trial on that day. That'll be the announcement day, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Once you sign and get your yellow copy, you're free to go.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Millsable, you ready? Waiting. We have any other counsel that's ready?
Right next to the bathroom.
I'll bring in Mr. Hawkins. Mr. Hawkins is appearing via Zoom today, returning this.
That's all I have, Your Honor, maybe.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Rostick. Hopefully. Mr. Godwin. Come on up. Good morning, Mr. Hawkins. Can you see and hear me okay?
Yes, sir, Judge. I appreciate you allowing me to appear by Zoom this morning.
Absolutely, no problem. I've got Mr. Godwin at the podium in court today. This is cause numbers CR 24-140 and 141, State of Texas versus James Wesley Godwin. I believe that we're set for docket call. Do you have any announcements, Mr. Hawkins?
I do, Judge. We had appeared at this last one, and this was to be our last status docket, Your Honor. However, I obtained new evidence on Thursday and I was able to send it to the prosecutor, Mr. Hernandez. However, he was out of the office last week, Your Honor. And so we did not get a chance to visit about the impact of that evidence. I would ask the court for one last status docket, where then I can meet with Mr. Hernandez and see what the impact of that statement is going to have on this case.
Any objections, Mr. Hernandez?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, so what we'll do, Mr. Hawkins, is I will reset you for a final docket call. Are you available on Tuesday, April 8th?
April the 8th, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yes, Judge.
All right, court sets Mr. Godwin for final docket call, April 8th at 9 a.m. Mr. Godwin, we're going to have you sign this notice of appearance, give you the yellow copy, and then you're free to go. All right, thank you, Mr. Hawkins. I'll let you get back to your mediation.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
You as well.
All right, bye-bye.
Any other counsel that's ready?
Judge.
Juwan, are you ready? Michael Todd Shelton. Mr. Shelton, if you'll come forward. This is cause number CR 24-189. Mr. Shelton set for docket call today. Go ahead, Mr. Juwan.
Can we approach Judge on this one?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, for the record, this is cause number CR 24-189, State of Texas versus Michael Todd Shelton. Mr. Shelton, I'm going to set you for a plea agreement on April 8th at 9 a.m. Mr. Weiner's got your notice. Once you receive that yellow copy, you are free to go, sir.
Thank you, Judge. That's all I have. Maybe excuse.
Yes, sir. Mr. Schmidt, who are you ready on?
Eric Bradley.
Mr. Bradley? This is cause number CR 24-163, State Texas versus Roderick Morrell Bradley for docket call. Go ahead, Mr. Schmidt.
Judge, we'd like to set Mr. Bradley for a plea.
How long do you need, Mr. Schmidt?
Oath, 30 days, I guess, standard set.
We can do that either on the 25th or the 8th.
25th of March.
Mhm.
That'll work.
All right, court sets Mr. Bradley then for plea on March 25th. Is that a morning plea, Mr. Schmidt?
Yes, sir.
90.
Yeah, just right up there.
Just throw that out there. Let's just put that over there. It's like a much later. Who's next, Mr. Swab?
Claude Brown.
Claude Dwayne Brown, CR 24-254. Mr. Brown is set for pretrial today.
That's correct, Judge. We don't have any contestants. How you doing, Mr. Brown? Ask for docket call setting.
All right, court sets Mr. Brown for docket call on April 8th at 9 a.m.
If you haven't seen him, you need to. Yeah, yeah, he's out there.
Who's next?
Tammy Cocaine.
Tammy Renee Cocaine, CR 24-205. Ms. Cocaine is set for docket call.
That's correct, Judge. We're working through some things with the DA's office to ask for another DA, docket call setting.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, court sets Ms. Cocaine for additional docket call April 8th.
For what?
Another, watch your.
That'd be at 9 a.m.
Back on 18. Potentially.
Let's see.
Hmm?
I want to see.
Yeah.
Person. So
Some
we
people
can
just
get,
did. You get there.
show you some stuff.
You eventually look at my office. I got you. Just shoot me an email, we'll work it out.
Who's next, Mr. Sherman?
Christopher
Thank you, Your
Crutcher.
Honor.
You're welcome. Christopher Edward Crutcher, CR 24-302. Just cut across there. Mr. Crutcher is set for pretrial today.
That's correct, Judge. We don't have any contested pretrial matters that need to be heard. We'd like to set him for a plea.
You want that same April 8th date?
Yes, sir.
All right, court sets Mr. Crutcher for plea before the court, April 8th. Is that a morning plea?
Yes, sir.
Be at 9 a.m. Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Honor. You're welcome.
Jeremy Estridge.
Jeremy Wayne Estridge, CR 11-119. We're set again today on restitution compliance from Mr. Estridge.
That's correct, Judge. Since we were last here, Mr. Estridge has paid an additional 1,000 towards his restitution. I think that balance is still hovering around 50,000. So we'd ask for another 60 days.
Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
What about April 15th?
Yes, sir.
All right, court sets Mr. Estridge for restitution compliance, April 15th at 9 a.m.
Fernando Hernandez.
Fernando David Hernandez, CR 23-162. Mr. Hernandez is set for docket call today.
That's correct, Judge. We'd ask to set him for a plea.
April 8th.
Yes, sir.
Well, we can do the one earlier in March if you want. We're getting a little full on March 25th, but if they're for pleas for resolution, I can squeeze them in.
We could take April. It's fine.
April 8th. April 8th at 9
Braxton Johnson.
Mr. Johnson. Cause number CR 24-166, CR 24-273, State of Texas versus Braxton Pierre Johnson for docket call.
That's correct, Judge. We'd ask to set Mr. Johnson for a plea.
All right, court sets Mr. Johnson for plea April 8th at 9 a.m. Mr. Schmidt, I show Mr. Johnson to be delinquent on his bond supervision and attorney fees. It's about $240 delinquent. Is that something you can pay today, or have you paid recently?
I believe he has the money order this morning.
About $150 money order.
Okay, I want you to go over and get that paid, and then that's still gonna leave you about $100 short before the next court date. So I want you to get that cleared up and get it zero balance. So whenever you go on your plea, that you're not owing something already as you go in. Okay? All right, you're free to go.
Yeah. That, yes, absolutely. We'll see.
Who's next, Mr. Schmidt?
Adam Scott.
Scott? This is cause number CR 24-287, State of Texas versus Adam James Scott. This is also cause number CR 24-288, 289, 290, and 291. I believe that we are set for pretrial in all cases. Go ahead, Mr. Schmidt.
Judge, at this point, we're gonna ask for an additional pretrial hearing. We're working through some issues, but one of the issues is potential restitution issues.
April 8th, enough time?
I think so. No objection, Your Honor.
All right, court sets Mr. Scott in all cases for pretrial April 8th. 9 a.m. Crawford, are you ready? Yes, sir. Oh. This is cause number CR 24-209, State of Texas versus Lloyd Holbrook. Sorry, go around. There you go. This is State of Texas versus Lloyd Holbrook. And I believe that Mr. Holbrook is set for docket call.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mr. Crawford.
So we're still waiting on some videos and there's some CPS records. We may have to file get the court order on to get the records. I think by speaking with the ADA, they're working on getting all the videos together. There's multiple agencies involved. So I think that's the understanding we have.
Yes, Your Honor. The CPS records are really the hardest thing right now. Obviously, those require an in-camera review as well. So we're working on trying to gather what we can to have those sent to the court for review. So we'd request an additional setting and would have no opposition if Mr. Crawford needs to file a motion after the pretrial setting.
Mr. Crawford, are you available either April 8th or April 15th?
Real quick, Judge. I don't know, my schedule's open, so I guess either one.
Let's go ahead and get you here then. Let's do April 15th. That'll give you an extra week. So I know that the CPS records could be something that takes a while. So Mr. Holbrook, we're going to order you back for docket call and we'll do status on discovery CPS records. That'll be April 15th at 9 a.m.
And Your Honor, if I may, just to clarify, is the understanding that Mr. Crawford is going to be filing the subpoena to CPS, or is that something he's relying on the state to do? I just wanted to be sure, so we're not back here.
I can file it
Okay, thank you, sir. I
unless you want
appreciate
to.
that. No, that's fine.
Would you like for us to both sign an agreed motion?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine with me. However y'all want to work it out. Unless you're asking the court to order something, then y'all sign an agreement. whether you file it or you don't file it, just so long as there's an agreement on who's going to request the records.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hallberg, you're free to go.
Thanks.
Mr. White, you ready?
So.
Who would you like to call first, Mr. Hoag?
That'd be
Or-
fine.
All right, Mr. Hoag. This is cause numbers CR 24-140, CR 24-259, 260, and 261. State of Texas versus Joshua Ernest Hoag. I believe that we are set for docket call on all cases, Mr. White.
That's correct, Your Honor. We're going to ask for one more docket call on April 8th. We had somewhat of an amended offer that I'd like to have some time to go over with my client.
Any objections from the state?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, court will set final docket call for Mr. Hoag in all cases. Available on April 8th or 15th, Mr. White?
8th sounds good.
8th, okay. Court sets Mr. Hoag for docket call on all cases, April 8th at 9 a.m. Corey Kimball. This is cause number CR 24-142, State of Texas versus Corey Wayne Kimball for docket call. Go ahead, Mr. White.
Your Honor, we're going to be asking for a plea date, hopefully April 8th, because there's some situations that we might have to take care of
Okay,
during that time.
any objections from the state?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, court sets Mr. Kimball for plea April 8th at 9 a.m. I'm assuming, is that a 9 a.m. plea or is it a 1:30 plea?
It did, 9.
9 a.m.
All right, I believe that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. White. Bennett Watts, CR 24-157. Mr. Watts entering a plea today.
Yes, Your Honor, we have a packet.
What's going on today?
It's going.
All right, Mr. Watts. This is cause number CR 24-157. Mr. Watts, if you'll raise your right hand, I'm going to place you under oath. Sir, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, sir. All right, you can lower your hand. Your name is Bennett Thomas Watts, is that correct?
Yes,
And Mr. Watts, are you a United States citizen who reads, writes, and speaks English?
sir.
Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental condition?
No, sir.
Okay. Are you on any type of medication or under any kind of doctor's care that you think, or anything that you think could inhibit or make it difficult for you to understand what's going on here today?
No, sir.
Okay. In this case, you are represented by your attorneys, Mr. Brett Harrison and Mr. Matt Millslagle. Are you pleased with their representation of you?
Yes.
Do you feel like you've had enough time to talk to them about your case and you understand everything that you've read and signed here today?
Yes, sir.
And where you've signed in the paperwork that's your true and correct signature, and you only signed once you were confident that you understood what you were signing?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Millslagle, do you believe your client to be competent today?
Yes, Your Honor.
And have you explained to him the rights that he has with regards to this case and also the advantages and disadvantages of a deferred adjudication plea?
I have, Your Honor.
And do you believe that he understands those and that he's entering into this agreement intentionally, knowingly, and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Watts, you are charged by indictment with a state jail felony offense of theft of firearm. A state jail felony does carry a range of punishment of not less than 6 months in prison or more than 2 years in prison, and a fine up to $10,000 if you were to be convicted and sentenced. I see that the plea agreement in your case, upon your plea of guilty, the DA's office is recommending that the court consider the evidence, find that there's enough evidence to convict you, but not convict you today, but rather place you on deferred community supervision for a period of 3 years, along with a $1,500 fine, $290 in court costs, and $35 in reimbursement fees. Is that your understanding of the plea agreement as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, understanding those things, Mr. Watts, how do you plead to state jail felony theft of firearm?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty to that crime because you are in fact guilty of committing that crime?
Yes, Your Honor.
And has anyone threatened you, forced you, or pressured you to plead guilty in court?
No, sir.
All right, the court does accept the defendant's plea of guilt at this time. Mr. Millslagle, any objection to the admission of the stipulation of evidence?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, that is admitted. The court takes judicial notice of the defendant's judicial confession. Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything further from the defense?
And Your Honor, I spoke with Mr. Watts this morning. He hired us some time ago. His financial situation has changed. He's hired us. Right now, he's currently not working. He's supporting his wife who is going through some medical issues. We should ask the court to waive court costs on this. He knows he will have the fine he has to pay. We're just requesting that.
Okay, court's going to consider the evidence. All right, the court, having considered the evidence, finds that there is enough evidence to convict the defendant of this offense. Court will follow the plea agreement. Court hereby defers a finding of guilt on the state jail felony offense and theft of a firearm. Court follows the plea agreement, defers a finding of guilt, places Mr. Watts on 3 years community supervision. The court orders him to pay a $1,500 fine, $35 reimbursement fees. The court is not going to waive the court cost. You'll have 3 years to pay that off. Mr. Watts, I understand your situation, but the court does not find you to be indigent at this time, unable to care for your minimal needs. So the court assesses fine, court costs, and reimbursement fees. Mr. Watts, you're hereby remanded to the custody of the probation department so they can carry out the terms and conditions of the sentence. I'm going to have you come forward to be fingerprinted with Deputy Martinez, and then the probation officers will tell you about what's next.
Judge, all I may be excused.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Millslagle. Good to see you. Right, this is cause number CR 20-332. State of Texas versus Christian Ann Early. Ms. Early, if you'll raise your right hand, I'm going to place you under oath. Do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So if you got.
Yes, sir.
All right, you already have. All right, Ms. Early, you're currently on community supervision, correct?
Yes,
And I have a request here today that you're asking to have your probation period extended. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
And you're asking for the court to extend it for a period of 1 year because you're about to expire on March 1st, but you're asking it to be extended until February 28th of 2026. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What do you need the extension for?
I got behind on my fees. I have medical issues, so that's pretty much it.
Okay,
The money.
you've already done your community service and everything?
Yes,
All right, and you believe that if the court extends it, it would allow you to complete your probationary period
Absolutely.
successfully?
yes, sir.
All right, then the court, and let me ask you, Mr. Early, has anybody forced you to make this request?
No.
All right. Court will amend the conditions of community supervision, will extend Ms. Early's probationary period until February 28th of 2026. And during this period, Ms. Early, I will order that your probation fees for that period, along with your analysis fee, be waived. So you're not going to have to pay probation fees for the extension, but you still need to pay for everything that you're behind on.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Early, I have signed this. If you want to come over here and meet with the probation officers, they can, you'll have to sign this as well, and then they can get you a copy, okay? Mr. Thomas? This is a sanctions court hearing for Keith LaTroy Thomas. All right, Mr. Thomas, let's see. You've been on sanctions court for about how long now? 6 months or so?
August the 8th,
Taken
since August the 8th.
since August the 8th. And it looks like the last time you were in court, I had you pay your probation fees of $180, district clerk fees of $150. Looks like you completed all of your community service. You've been doing really well. Looks like you're supposed to expire on what, let's see, March 7th.
Yes, sir.
So you've done really good. You got all of your probation done. You're not delinquent anymore. So the only thing we have to do is wait until March 7th and you're off probation. So I'm going to release you from sanctions court here today.
Okay.
If you want to come back in here and check in with me anymore, just stay compliant for the remainder of your period. We'll be out of your life.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So you're free to go.
All right. Thank you.
Good work. Michelle Daly. All right, Michelle, this is sanctions court. Looks like you paid your probation fee of $100. You paid your $100 to court collections. You're doing well on that. So I'm gonna reset you. We're gonna do the same thing, $100 to court collections, 100 to probation fees.
Cause I don't.
And have you come back on April 8th, okay?
Thank you.
So just make sure you continue to do what you've been doing and make sure you have that paid the week before, okay?
I sure will.
Nicholas Duncan? All right, Mr. Duncan, good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you, sir?
Doing fine. All right, looks like you met your sanctions and you paid your fees to the court, you paid your fees to probation. I'm gonna reset you for the same thing, April 8th, and $100 to court collections, $100 to probation, okay?
Yes, sir.
Once you sign, then you're free to go, sir. All right. Lena Price? All right, Lena, looks like you paid your 60 to probation, you paid your 60 to court collections, actually paid a little more, you paid 65. You did your 15 hours community service, that's good, we're getting you on the right track here. Looks like this is the pattern that we need to hold to in order to get you successfully completed in May of 26.
Okay.
Okay, so I know that sounds like a long time away, but if we really stop and think about it, we're in February of 25. May of 26 will be here pretty quickly.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, so we can't afford to fall behind on anything. Right.
I do have support, help me keep it on track too. My mom, so she's been helping me
Good.
stay on track.
Well, you've got 60 to probation, 65 to court collections, and 15 hours community service. That's what it's gonna take every month. That's your bare minimum. Anything you do more than that, great, that gets you ahead.
Okay.
Anything you do less than that, puts you further behind. So you're either gonna have to pay twice as much one month or 3 times however far you fall behind, or you're looking at having to be extended or revoked, okay? So
Okay.
let's don't do that. Let's meet that minimum, 60 to probation, 65 to court collections, 15 hours community service. I think that's very doable.
It is.
All right,
I'm trying to stay on track and I'm going to, ain't gonna try, I'm going to.
All right, make this your number one priority, okay?
Yes, sir.
And we'll come back on April 8th.
Alrighty. Thank you.
You're welcome. Kaylin Cheatham. All right, Mr. Cheatham, let's see, we're talking about our sanctions court requirements. Looks like you were ordered to pay 170 probation. It says that you came up short on that. And you paid 100. Is that right?
I'm gonna get them another 70 today.
You can pay 70 today. Says that you paid your 100 to court collections. That's good. Says that you didn't do your community service. Is that right?
Yes.
Why not?
Oh, it said I didn't?
It says you did not do, it just says failed to comply. It doesn't say that you worked some, it just says failed to comply. So I take that to mean 0.
Oh, yeah, I did it. I did 8 hours one day and then another 8 hours like last week for 11 grades. Should be on that sign-in sheet. That's crazy.
Well, if it's not turned in the week before, it doesn't make it to my report. So if you did it on Friday or Saturday,
No, I think it was the week before last because that's when I came out here and paid.
you're saying that you did 16 hours?
Yes, sir.
You said when did you, tell me exactly when you did that so I can write that down so they can verify it.
Just let me check it 1 second. February the 11th.
11th?
Sure.
You did how many hours that day?
It should be 8 to 5.
8 to 5 nonstop?
Yeah. Because I was actually off that day, so I could stay.
And what about you said you did 16 hours? Where's the other hours? When'd you do that?
It was the time after court, so it should have been right at 15 because it was like 6 or 7 hours. Because I did it after I left court that day.
You were in court on January 7th?
Yes.
You said you did it after work
Yeah.
or after court? And you're saying you did 7 hours then or another 8 hours?
No, it was 7 because I didn't stay that long, that late that day. I don't know if it'll be on the same sign-in sheet since it was one time in January and then the other time in February.
Or you weren't delinquent, were you? Trying to make up time?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You were? So you might not, so you gotta have 15 hours every month. So if you're ever delinquent in court, then that delinquency just carries ahead.
Okay,
So
so
if
that's
you,
probably,
let's say that you 15 hours are due on on January 7th and you didn't get them all done. And you went and did 8. Well, that eight goes back to that
that's the other
January,
one.
doesn't carry forward to February.
Okay, so that's probably why I say failed to comply.
You're supposed to be off probation in about a little over a year, April of next year. So you really have to stay, like, kind of like what I told the lady before you. You're kind of looking at minimums as to what you got to do in order to be off probation at the right time. All right, I'm going to bring you back on April 8th. You need to pay 170 to probation and you need to pay it the week before, okay?
Gotcha.
Pay 100 to court collections and let's do, I need 20 hours of community service. Okay, because you're falling delinquent on that. I need you to get caught up. All that's due the week before April 8th. Okay. Tell me about your job situation.
I'm still still trucking for the concrete people. It's just that weather. So it pick up, then it slow down. Pick up.
So you don't get paid unless you're driving?
I get a kind of like a base rate, but I really get paid by the load.
So you're still drawing a paycheck, but your paycheck's bigger when
Yeah,
you're
but
actually working.
it's slim. So I think it's like 580, but not driving.
Do you do anything else when you can't drive?
Watch my daughter.
But you don't do anything else?
Yeah, I
to
don't do anything
earn
else.
money? You don't do anything else to earn money, you might want to consider that. All right, we'll see you back on April 8th. Kyle Holland. All right, Mr. Holland, let's see, in sanctions court, they tell me that you tested positive on the UA for THC on December 11th of 25. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Haven't we already gone down this road,
Yes, sir.
you and I?
Yes, sir.
I thought I'd gotten your attention before.
Yes, sir.
Apparently I hadn't. Right?
You have my attention, I promise.
Well, we're gonna see about that. You know, you're looking at up to 5 years in prison.
Yes, sir.
Maybe 10. I can't tell from here what your term was, but just says you're on probation for 5. I don't know what kind of sentence you got looking over your head. Either way, it doesn't matter. Any kind of TDC sentence is not good. All right, that's what we're going to do, Mr. Holland. I'm going to bring you back on April 8th. Need to pay your $60 to probation, 100 to court collections, 20 hours community service, and your THC is going to cost you 3 days in jail.
Okay.
I'll let you pick the 3 days that you need to do. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I really need you to stay out of my jail.
Yes, sir. I just recently started medication that I'm hoping will help.
I hope it helps as well. All right, so you need to have those 3 days done before April 8th. We'll let you pick it out, come back here. Once you sign, come back here, meet with the probation officers. They'll have you sign a form and make sure you bring your ID with you when you go to the jail. You know this because you've been there, but sir, make sure you have an ID with you. Tammy Crocker. All right, Tammy, let's see.
I paid it, excuse me, sir. I paid it this morning. My mom has been in the hospital.
Hang on, tell me what you paid this morning.
I paid the $100 and the $90.
Paid today?
Yes, sir. My mom was in the hospital all week with pneumonia, so I've been with her.
All right, I'm gonna bring you back on April 8th, 90 to probation, 100 to restitution.
And it's due a week before. Yes, sir. I'll make
week
sure.
before. 100 to restitution and 90 to probation. Is your mother recovered?
She's home now. Yes, sir. Thank you.
What happened to her?
She, back in September, she fell and broke her shoulder and her, ribs. And it's been constant battle with pneumonia. So her O2 sats went really low, so they had to put her in the hospital.
But she's home and doing better?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Max Suarez,
It's credit.
all right, Mr. Juarez, this is your sanctions court hearing. It says that you paid your $90 to probation, you paid $75 to court collections.
Your Honor, I'm gonna be honest right now. I didn't pay it. I was gonna pay it today. That's why I brought the cash with me because I was gonna do the money order. Unless I doubt I paid double last month. I doubt I paid double. So I always pay
They've,
I was just gonna tell you that today because
well, I appreciate your honesty. They've indicated to me that you complied with your probation payment.
I probably paid double last month. I'll check again that way. Well, I'm gonna still pay today as well.
Anything that you pay to get ahead is to your benefit,
Yeah,
right?
yes, sir.
And all I can do is I appreciate your honesty. And if you did pay double, then that's why it's showing that it's
Right.
complied with. But it says that you paid your probation fees, you paid your court.
Oh, and I'm sorry for interrupting us. The videos, I didn't know how to email them. I have them on my phone.
Hang on. I don't even know what videos we're talking about yet, but hang on just a second with that. It says that you paid your $90 to probation. It says that you've paid your $75 to court collections. It says that you need to provide verification of your compliance with your 12-step program. And it says that you did not do your community service. Now, what are you talking about?
The English and Spanish videos on my phone. I didn't know how to email them. I have them on my phone for the English and the causes of effects and drugs.
Mm-hmm. So you have them on your phone?
Yes, sir.
What about your 12-step?
I really haven't checked in on those. I'll start checking them back on those as soon as possible.
So you haven't been doing your 12-step program?
I really haven't got the verification. Nah, I haven't done them since February. Well, not this February, since like the last month, January. And it wasn't for a long time. It wasn't for a long time where I would have got the verification for the attendance. It was just for like 5 minutes.
So you did your two videos, one in English, one in Spanish.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you, do you have a computer at home?
Yeah, I do. I could transfer them to my MacBook and then from there probably just send it as a file.
Can you put it, no, I'd rather you put it on a flash drive.
Flash drive? Yeah, I could put it on a flash drive. Like the ones that, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, the ones that you plug in.
Mhm.
Do you have a YouTube channel or anything?
I'll make one if that's,
No, I'm not requiring you to make one. I'm just saying if you did have one, you could upload it there and then just send us a link.
I'll do that. I'll make a YouTube channel and I'll upload it.
Whatever's easier. Flash drive is fine too. If you just want to put them on a thumb
I
drive.
think the YouTube will be, because I already have them. I'll just have to upload them now.
Okay.
And I'll just email the link to my probation officer.
All right. So this is what I want. I'm gonna have you back on April 8th, and I need $90 to probation, 75 to district court. How much were you gonna pay today? What was your plan?
I was just gonna play the minimum, the 80 and the 90.
The 90 and the 75?
Yes, sir.
The 165?
Yeah.
So you're gonna pay 165 today?
Yes, sir.
All right, but so you're gonna need to do that again for March because you're not coming back in March.
All right.
So that'll cover February, or that'll probably cover. You ask your probation officer, because I'm not sure if this is covering February. It's covering February. Covering January, so you need to cover February and March.
All right. So 2 payments then?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say $90 to probation. If you pay 165 today, then that should cover March.
All right.
Because they show you paid up through, well, that shows you paid up through January. So you pay that today, then that'll cover February. Then yeah, you'll need to do it again.
Yeah, I'll do 2 just to play.
You'll pay again in March. So so an additional 90 and 75, and then you have to do your community service. Let's see. Are you still working?
Yes, I'm still working in West Texas.
Are you 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or what are you?
No, sir. It's right now. I just got
the 2 days off to come over here for President's Day. So it's, I would say, 18 days, working straight and then 3 days off.
Okay. I'll try to figure out some more ways, inventive ways to get your community service done, but I want you to go ahead and if you're going to create the YouTube channel, then send the 2 links to those videos. Send those. I'll give you 5 days to get that done. Okay.
All right.
All right. So today's Monday. Just get it to have those links emailed to your probation officer.
Yeah, I'll have it done.
Friday.
Yeah, I'll have it done.
Okay. And then I need you to be compliant with your 12-step program, and I need you to be on top of that, and I need verification of that.
Yeah, I'll get the attendance now. I'll stay on for the full meeting.
All right, so that's what I'm looking for on April 8th, okay?
And then I'll be coming in person as well. That way I can handle some things as well in town now that I'm here.
Okay, well, if you're gonna be in town, then you can coordinate doing your community service. It'd be probably easier for you.
Yes, sir. I'll ask my uncle to let me off a day before since he's my supervisor.
Okay, and if there's ever an opportunity where you could get off around first Monday weekend, which would be the
First,
Thursday through Sunday prior to the first Monday of the month.
all right.
So you find out what the first Monday of the month is, and you go backwards. You could ever get time off between that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You could get up to 50 hours of community service done like that.
All right, sounds good. I'll keep that in mind. I
All right,
appreciate it.
we'll see you back on the 8th. Caleb Waller. Is Caleb here? So. This was weird. Oh, this is today. Okay. Misty Backus. Yeah. I'll look at it. While you. All right, Misty, let's see here. It says that you paid your 65 to probation fees. It said that you did not comply with your 115 to court collections. Is that right?
Right.
Do you have any of that today?
I'm waiting, or Todd and I are waiting on his mom's life insurance, and he's gonna pay off the entire, I think almost 2,000 is what I have left. And he's gonna buy the rest of the probation or the, community service hours. I only have 24 left. I couldn't go do any community service because both of our vehicles are down. And I did Chuck's class online.
When do you expect the life insurance proceeds to be in for you to use?
Within the next couple of weeks is what he said.
He's already filed death certificate
Yes.
and all those things?
Yes, sir.
So it looks like your deadline is April 11th to get all of that done. So apparently you're aware, so about 600, about 661 to probation, 2543, don't write that shit down. 2543 on court collections, and then you got 16 hours community service, $145 to Mr. Jakes. All of that before April 11th, and you can expire on time. And
Yes, sir.
you think you're gonna do that?
Yes.
All right, so let's come back on April 8th and that's what I'm gonna put down, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna put down 661.29 probation. 2543, 2,543 to court collections. 16 hours community service. $145 to Mr. Jakes. Have all that by April 8th and you'll be done. Okay,
Yes, sir.
are you optimistic about that?
Yes, very.
All right, good.
Thank you.
Mr. McSpadden? Guy, let's see here, on your sanctions, it said that you did your 3 days in jail, correct? You did your 3-day buyback well, we had a 3-day buyback wherein you were supposed to pay 120 to probation. It says you did that.
I paid it, Your Honor.
Right, it says you paid that.
Yes, sir.
It says that you did not pay your 80 to court collections. Did
I
you?
paid 100 to each.
Paid 100. When did you pay your 100 to court collections?
I believe it's only been a few days, Your Honor, but I got receipts.
Yeah, go ahead and pull those up. Let me see. What about community service?
I don't know if they turned it in, but I got a copy of it, 61 hours.
You did 61 hours?
Yes, Your Honor, and I have a copy of it.
All right, yeah, let me see that. Pull up your receipt. Let Ms. Abraham see that 61 hours.
Let's see. One of them.
This is for your $100.
I paid $100 each, Your Honor, for community service or probation and fees.
All right, so this says you paid $100 to, that was yesterday.
Yes.
Let's see, where did that go?
I had them both yesterday, Your Honor.
Is there 2 on this screen right here?
Sir.
Here, come up here. So here's the one. Here's the one that says 100.
Yes, sir. I paid both of them like that. Let's see.
I was ready to come back.
Actually, I think it screenshotted the other one.
Should I get help?
I emailed it to my probation.
Well, that's gonna be good enough, I think, because the only one they weren't showing you to have paid is probably the one you paid yesterday.
Okay.
So that's good.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
You can give that one back to you. right, so Mr. Sen, I show that you did 29 hours of community service since January 7th. January 7th was the last time we were in court. So it looks like on the 9th, you did 4, on the 15th and 16th, you did 3. That totals 10. And on the 22nd, you did 4, 29th, you did, January 29th, you did 3. So that's 17. And then you did 4 on 2/4, 2/5, 2/11. That's 12, 17, 12, 29. You say 61?
I was just going by what they told me, Your Honor.
Well, I'm just going by what they.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that including?
It's fine, it's fine. I'm saying you got more, but I don't want you to be under the impression that you did 61 hours.
No, sir. Yes, sir. I get you. I don't have the old copy of this, so I just going by what they told me.
Okay. Yeah, go by here where it says total hours in that column right there. And that also, which is fine. That's good.
Okay, yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we're gonna come back on April 8th. We're gonna do the same thing, 120 to probation, $80 to court collection, 20 hours community service.
Yes,
Okay?
Your Honor. Anything else, Your Honor?
No, sign this and you'll be free to go.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor.
You're welcome. Mr. Schmidt, are you ready? Yes. Mr. Schmidt, who are you ready on?
I'm ready on, Mario Martinez.
Mario Martinez, you come forward, sir. CR 21-178. All right, I believe Mr. Martinez is currently on probation in this court and a motion to adjudicate has been filed. Court has reviewed his request for court appointed counsel. The court finds him to be indigent. As appointed the Honorable Richard Schmidt. Mr. Schmidt being appointed today. I assume you're not ready to go forward, correct?
That's correct.
All right, court will reset Mr. Martinez's case to March 27th. That's our next evidentiary date. That'll be at 9 a.m.
Free to leave.
Way to go.
See my name out there. Michael Tuff.
Michael Tuff. This is cause number CR 22-296, State of Texas versus Michael Cole Tuff. Motion to adjudicate. Go ahead, Mr. Schmidt.
Judge, we're not ready to proceed at this time. We'd ask for that March 27th date.
All right, court sets Mr. Tuff for hearing March 27th. If there's no agreement, then I would expect the parties to be ready to go forward on the motion. Hang on just a second. Mr. Tuff, what time does court start?
9 o'clock.
What time were you here?
Like, I called and left.
No, hang on. What time were you here?
9:20, 9:30.
Tell me why. Why were you here late?
Traffic, and I had to drop my kids off, one of my kids off at school. And I was stuck in traffic. I came all the way from Richardson.
Who did you call to tell them you were running late?
I talked to someone named Colton that was in the office, and he said he was going to leave a message for somebody on their desk.
I want you to make arrangements to be here on time. Mr. Schmidt was ready. I'm ready. Stage, everyone's ready to call your case at 9 o'clock. Get you in and get you out.
Yes, sir.
But if you're not here on time, what I write down on here is revoke bond. That's what I write.
Yes, sir.
I've had to mark through that. Okay,
I apologize.
all right. So be here at 9 o'clock on the 27th.
Yes, sir.
You're free to go. Mr. Landa? This is cause number CR 24-213, State of Texas versus Deuce Landa Junior. Mr. Landa, sir, if you'll raise your right hand, I'm gonna place you under oath. Sir, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can lower your name. Hey, is your name Jesus Landa Junior?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Landa, are you a United States citizen who reads, writes, and speaks English?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental condition?
No, sir.
In this case, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. Richard Schmidt. Are you pleased with Mr. Schmidt as your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand everything that you have read and signed today?
I do.
Is this your true and correct signature in these documents?
It is.
Mr. Schmidt, do you believe Mr. Landa to be competent today?
I do.
You've explained to him his rights as they pertain to this case.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that he understands the advantages and disadvantages of a deferred adjudication plea?
Yes, sir.
And you believe that he's entering a voluntary plea?
I do.
I think we just got married. I'm sure. But, Mr. Landa, you are charged by indictment with a third-degree felony offense of possession of a controlled substance of penalty group 1 between 1 grams and 4 grams. A third-degree felony does carry a range of punishment if you were to be convicted and sentenced to not less than 2 years in prison or up to a maximum of 10 years in prison and a possible fine not to exceed $10,000. I see that the plea agreement in this case, upon your plea of guilty, the DA's office is recommending that the court consider the evidence but not convict you, rather to place you on community supervision for a period of 3 years with a $1,500 fine, $290 in court costs, $535 in reimbursement fees, and $180 in restitution. Further, the DA's office looks like they are agreeing to dispose of another case, a possession of marijuana less than 2 ounces. Is that your understanding, Mr. Landon?
Yes, sir.
All right, understanding all of that, how do you plead to the third-degree felony offense of possession of a controlled substance?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty to that crime because you are in fact guilty of committing that crime? Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yeah.
You're not just pleading guilty to get a certain disposition.
This is my first time ever going through this stuff, so, I plead guilty for everything.
Okay. And you are pleading guilty because what they have accused you of, you actually did.
Sir.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Landa, has anybody threatened, forced, or pressured you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
All right. Court does accept the defendant's plea of guilt. Mr. Schmidt, any objection to the stipulation of evidence?
No objection.
That is admitted and the court takes judicial notice of the defendant's judicial confession. Anything further from the state?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything further from the defense?
No, sir.
All right, the court will review the evidence. Right, the court, having considered the evidence, finds that there is enough evidence to convict Mr. Landa of this offense. The court will follow the plea agreement today and the recommendation of the DA's office. Court hereby defers a finding of guilt, places Mr. Landa on 3 years community supervision, orders him to pay a $1,500 fine, $180 restitution, $290 court cost, $535 in reimbursement fees, and the court dismisses under section 1245, possession of marijuana less than 2 ounces in DA 2024-562. Mr. Landa, how old are you, sir?
I'm 29.
29. And you said this is your first time going through court. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You've never had any kind of other probation?
No, sir.
What do you do for a living?
Work as a maintenance guy at apartment complex.
Are you married?
Not yet.
Are you not sure if you're married?
No, I'm not.
I'm
Gonna
married. And I know
propose soon.
I'm married. Mr. Schmidt's married. We both know that we're married. Are you
Yeah.
married?
No, sir. I'm gonna be proposing soon, though.
You're going to be proposing. Does she want to marry you?
Yeah. We have a kid, our first child already.
That was going to be my next question. If you had any kiddos,
Yeah, he's 4 months old, about to be 5 in a few weeks.
do you love him?
I sure do.
How much do you love him?
Enough to, stay away from trouble.
You want to be there in his life?
I want to be there for as much as I can.
You don't want to miss up to 10 years of his life, do you?
I don't.
You understand what is at stake here? You understand that this is very serious?
Very
This
serious.
is not misdemeanor, 5 days in jail, time served, and move on with your life. You understand that?
I do.
You understand that Mr. Schmidt and the DA's office have extended you an opportunity to put this behind you and not have a felony conviction on your record that would follow you for the rest of your life, that would make it difficult for you to get a home loan, a job, a car, being able to walk into school to see your kids. You understand what a felony conviction, you understand how much a felony conviction can screw up your life.
I do.
I hope you do. I hope you don't find out the hard way.
I don't
A
want
lot
to.
of people that have this in their history and they can never get rid of it. If you have a young son and you're wanting to get married, that's going to be added responsibility for you.
Sir.
Understand that? So I hope this is sobering for you. I hope this is a wake up call for you.
It is.
One, you don't need drugs in your life at all. But number two, you don't need to be on a felony probation. So it looks like you have 3 years. You have 3 years to make sure that you stay out of prison.
Yes, sir.
So there's going to be times where you've got to make decisions. I hope the decisions that you make are fueled and motivated by taking care of your fiance and your son.
Yes, sir.
Because if not, if you end up going to prison, someone else is going to take care of them. And it ain't going to be you.
No, it's gonna be me.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that. Having another man raise your kid, have another man take care of your fiance.
No.
That would do it for me. Hope it does it for you. All right, Mr. Landa, you're hereby remanded to the custody of the probation department so they can carry out the terms and conditions of the sentence. I'm gonna have you come forward to be fingerprinted with Deputy Martinez, and then you'll meet with the probation officer.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Schmidt.
Ray Williams.
Right, Mr. Williams, this is cause number CR 24-226, State of Texas versus Ray Anthony Williams for docket call. Go ahead, Mr. Schmidt.
Judge, I've been working with the state, not quite ready yet, ask for an additional docket call setting.
All right, can we go to final docket call?
I don't know why we should rush it, but if we want it to be fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're on our, second docket call? This is our second, I think this is our fourth setting. Raymond pretrial docket call, docket call. I'll tell you what, I'll reset it for a final docket call, April 8th. And Mr. Williams, I show that you're delinquent on your attorney fees and sponsorship fees. It says you're $180 delinquent.
Sir, last time I showed up to court, I was supposed to go and pay. I told you I was gonna be able to pay 60 of it. I had the money order, but my fiance, she had left because we had her pediatrician is in Athens, and she had left. My mother came and picked me up, and so the money order, I couldn't find the money order, nothing like that. But the job I work at, I get paid by SPO, so I'm a maintenance man in Edgewood, and it's just certain jobs, and I have to wait a month, so wait up to like 35 days to get my check and everything, but I will be able to take care of it tomorrow. I have a check coming in. We'll be better pay to take care of at least half of it for sure.
So if you're 180 delinquent, you're telling me that you could pay $90 tomorrow?
For sure.
You
Yes,
make
sir.
it 100?
I can make it 100, yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna order you to pay $100 tomorrow to the pretrial release
Pretrial release.
department, okay? So that's Mr. West's office across the street. Another thing is I need you to be here on time.
Yes, sir. And I'm sorry, for some reason I have the 19 down everywhere on for my alarm on my phone. My fiance has a 19 down.
We'll write down April 8th, because that's
Yes,
the
sir.
next date you gotta be here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I do apologize for it.
Well, you're here, that's the most important thing.
Yes, sir.
It's just sharp. Okay, okay.
Mr. King? Is Ron Trail King? Mr. King, you don't have to come up yet, but I was gonna ask you, have you talked to your attorney, Mr. Brad Stevens? Will you step out in the hallway and call him and find out where he's at? Not here. We haven't heard from him. You don't know his number? You don't know your attorney's phone? What? I mean, did you hire him? Brad Stevens? Oh, I bet he's not the attorney. I bet this is an old case. Yeah, from CR-17. We weren't even on the bench. Come on up, Mr. King. Well, we gotta make sure that there wasn't a motion of withdrawal. File number CR 15-33322, State of Texas versus Keith Pryor. Mr. Pryor is currently in the state of Florida. Vance County does have a hold on him. We are scheduled to pick him up on March 12th. So let's set him for March 25th. Not sure. I don't see that he has an attorney, so that's an older case, so not sure what we'd set that for. Set it for status. We'll set it for attorney status. You may want to, whenever he gets here, you may want to go ahead and meet with him and see if it's for the morning council. All right, this is cause number CR 24-128 and CR 24-198 State versus, I'm sorry, those are two different people. CR 24-128 Wyatt Lane Berglund is in custody in Powell unit. We'll reset that for status on April 8th. I guess I'll need to hear from the parties on whether or not we're requesting a bench warrant prior to that date. And then it's cause number CR 24-198 State versus Trevion Lakeith Bowie, set for arraignment. He's verified in custody in Smith County. We'll reset him for arraignment on April 8th. Maybe y'all can dig into that, find out what he's got going on over there, and when his next court date is. So that only leaves you with Dickerson. I think we've reset, and you said Mr. Morgan's at 1:30. Okay. She needs to take it. Yeah, and so Ready for Mr. King?
Yes, sir.
Mr. King, come on up, sir. All right, this is cause number CR 17-98, State of Texas versus Rontrell Therese King. All right, Mr. King was originally appointed counsel of Mr. Brad Stevens back in 2016 by Judge Drum. Due to the lapse of time, the court is appointing today Richard Schmidt as counsel for Mr. King, finds him to be indigent. Are you ready for arraignment, Mr. Schmidt?
Yes, sir. We did receive a copy of the indictment. I've gone over that with Mr. King. His name's correct. Enter plea not guilty, waive from the reading, ask for pretrial.
All right, court sets Mr. King for pretrial on April 8th at 9 a.m.
See free to leave, Judge.
Free to go. Mr. King, I'm sorry, I do need one more thing. Because your case is older, let me make sure, I need to find out if you're on conditions of pretrial release. I think that he is. Let me print these out, Mr. West. I want you to go over with him again. I don't think he signed it. Actually, let me have Mr. Tabraham issue some new ones. So, Mr. King, do me a favor, have a seat in the hallway. What I'm going to do is Mr. West here is the court's pretrial release officer. He's going to bring out some conditions. I'm going to have you sign those. Because you are on bond in this case, the court is going to, and I do it for everyone, I'm going to have conditions of pretrial release that say you can't drink alcohol, do drugs, commit new crimes, and all those things. If you violate any of those, the court could revoke your bail, put you back in jail during the pendency of your case, okay?
Yes,
So
sir.
he's gonna have these conditions. He'll go over all those with you, okay?
Okay, yes, sir.
All right. And after you meet with him, then you're free to go. You don't have to come back to see me. Okay. Today. Mr. Wilkins, come on up. I see Mr. Lewis is in the Zoom waiting room now. Do you have a waiver of jury trial for Mr. Wilkins?
Your Honor, I believe you do. I think I have one emailed. I'll look for it here.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Lewis. How are you, sir?
Apologies.
Your internet connection's not not real good where you're at. I could barely make out what you said and you're frozen on the screen. If you can hear me, is there a way that you can move to a place with better reception?
Yes, actually, Judge, I can get on the internet. Can I sign out and then sign back in?
Yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead and do that and then I'll bring you back in.
I think that will be better, Judge.
All right, let's give this a try here. All right, let's go on record. This is cause number CR 24-123, State of Texas versus Juan Miguel Wilkins. Mr. Wilkins, this is a waiver of jury trial hearing today. If you'll raise your right hand, I'm going to place you under oath. Sir, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right. And you can see your attorney, Mr. Lewis, there in front of you. Is that correct? All right, let's take, go over there and change that pin that to Mr. Lewis. Just right click, say pin. So that he can see his attorney. Is that better?
Yes.
All right. And Mr. Lewis, you can see your attorney, Mr. Wilkins.
Yes, I can see Mr. Wilkins.
Okay. And the record will reflect that the defendant in this case, Mr. Juan Miguel Wilkins, is appearing in court, in open court, and counsel, Mr. Lewis, is appearing in court via Zoom today. All right. So, Mr. Wilkins, I see that you are desiring to waive your right to a jury trial in this matter and to plead to go to an open plea before the court, meaning that you do not have a plea agreement worked out with the state of Texas, but rather you're going to openly plead guilty to the court and try to dispose of your case that way. Is that correct?
Yes.
And before we get to that point, it is important for me to admonish you and make sure that you understand that you do have a right to a jury trial in this case. You do understand that?
Yes.
And in that jury trial process, you would have the right to confront the state's witnesses in front of the jury. You would have the right to cross-examine them. You would have the right to examine their evidence under the rules of procedure and evidence. You could ask the jury to make a determination of whether or not they believe that the state has proved each and every element of the offense beyond a reasonable doubt to secure a conviction. You understand that?
Yes.
You also understand that it is your individual right, one that the court, I can't waive it. The state of Texas can't waive it, and even your attorney can't waive it. Only you as the defendant can make the decision to waive this independent right of a trial by a jury of your peers. You understand that?
I understand.
You also understand, Mr. Wilkins, that if the court allows you to waive your right to a jury trial, that's a right that may not be given back to you at a later date. Meaning, if you waive it today and you go through your open plea and you're not satisfied, you can't say, well, Judge, now I've had buyer's remorse. I want to go back and have a jury trial. You understand that
Yeah.
once you waive that right, that the right will not be restored to you.
Yes.
And you've talked to your attorney, Mr. Lewis, and you've had his legal representation and counsel to you, and you understand fully what you're giving up here today?
Yes.
All right. And Mr. Wilkins, has anybody threatened, forced, or pressured you to waive your right to a jury trial?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Lewis, do you join in with your client in believing that he understands his right, that he's waiving the same intentionally, knowingly, and voluntarily?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. Court also finds that the attorneys for the state have waived the state's right to a jury trial in this matter. The court, having admonished Mr. Wilkins, the court finds that he understands his right, that he is waiving the same intentionally, knowingly, voluntarily, and with the advice and assistance of counsel. the court grants the waiver of jury trial. We will set this matter for an open plea before the court. Counsel, do y'all believe that there's going to be a certain time amount that's needed to do the open plea?
Your Honor, I expect to be on the safe side, a full day. I expect defense is going to have some witnesses that they'd like to put on. State, intends to put on at least 1 or 2 witnesses. So to be on the safe side, I think a full day, would be helpful.
Full day for, you said 4 witnesses?
I don't know how many witnesses, defense intends, but I expect he has some and we have a couple ourselves.
Mr. Lewis, how long would you?
Your Honor, we think we can address our issues within 2 hours with the court from a defense side.
Couple of hours?
Yes, Your Honor.
In that case, Your Honor, a half day probably be sufficient.
Absolutely.
And the court is going to order a pre-sentence investigation. Court, are you requesting that, Mr. Lewis, a pre-sentence investigation?
We are, Your Honor.
Okay. What if we set it, it's a little further out, but what if we set it for April 29th? Mr. Lewis, do you have your calendar? Can you look?
I do, Judge, and that is available.
That is available?
Yes.
That would give us about 30 days or so to complete the PSI, the pre-sentence investigation report, and then it would give you all time to coordinate with your witnesses, give you another 30 days to coordinate with your witnesses. All right, if there's no objection to that, then the court will set Mr. Wilkins then for open plea on April 29th at 9 a.m. Court will order the Van Zandt County Community Supervision and Corrections Department to perform a full pre-sentence investigation. What that means, Mr. Wilkins, is that the probation department will need to contact you and they will need to interview you about, and you can talk to Mr. Lewis about this as well. They'll need to interview you about your background, your family history, educational issue, any substance abuse, criminal history, your version of the facts as they apply to this. And because we've not done the plea, we've not done a plea yet. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
That's correct.
And so I guess we'll do that on the 29th.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that means, Mr. Lewis, you'll need to talk to your client about whether or not to make sure that whenever he goes through the pre-sentence investigation report that he's disclosing information. That what I'm saying is make sure that he doesn't change his mind and then divulge a bunch of information that could be used against him.
Right. I will, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Wilkins, the probation department will need some good contact information from you. So I'm going to have you give that to them today so they can call and set up an appointment for you to come in and give all the information they need to produce the report that then I will get. Your attorney, Mr. Lewis, will get, and the attorneys for the state will get. And then, of course, if there are any errors in that report, then you need to file a motion to modify, add something prior to that 29. So this should give us plenty of time to get all of that done. But you'll need to make sure I'll order them to do it within 30 days and to after that to provide it to counsel probably within 5 to 7 working days. And that should still give us plenty of time for you to review it and then make any modifications, additions, or deletions to it.
Mr. Judge.
Okay. So, Mr. Wilkins, I'm going to have you come back and meet with Officer Matura. She's one of our probation officers. Just give her some contact information, the best contact information for you, and they'll set up an appointment with you later.
Any contact information from myself or?
For you. Yeah, for you. They'll call you and then they'll have to set up a time for you to come in, or maybe they want to do it by Zoom or with phone. I don't know, but they'll need to interview you about all of this stuff. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Your Honor, if I may, we would also make a request for a Spanish interpreter. It's our intention to call the alleged victim who is Spanish speaking. So obviously we would need that on that morning.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. I'll make that note. And we'll make those arrangements.
Thank you.
All right. If there's nothing further, then the court having accepted the waiver of jury trial, I'll have this filed of record. And we'll see everyone back on the 29th, and you'll be in contact with probation before then.
Thank you.
Right, you're welcome.
Thank
You're, come back here and see Officer Mature, and after that, you're free to go.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. You have a good day, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come back here.
Yeah, come back here, see Officer Mature, give her your contact information. Will you make a note about that's yeah, 30 days, yeah. Yeah, let's do, today is the 18th. Let's just have it done by the 25th. And then, have it done by the.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Cause number CR 24-180, State of Texas versus John Franklin Dickerson. Mr. Dickerson, you'll raise your right hand. I'm going to place you on your oath. Sir, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Sir, do you need to sit down at all?
No, I'm all right.
Are you sure? If at any time you feel like you need to sit down, just let us know and we can make an arrangement, okay? All right, Mr. Dickerson, are you a United States citizen who reads, writes, and speaks English?
Sir?
Are you a United States citizen
sir.
who reads, writes, and speaks English?
Yes, sir.
In this case, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. Richard Schmidt. Are you pleased with Mr. Schmidt and the work he's done for you?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about any of your paperwork that you've read and signed today?
No, sir.
Mr. Schmidt, do you believe Mr. Dickerson to be competent to enter into a plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And do you believe that he understands everything that he's read and signed?
I do.
All right, Mr. Dickerson, you are charged by indictment with a third-degree felony offense of continuous violence against the family. However, I see today that the proposed plea agreement is that you would plead guilty to a lesser charge, a Class A misdemeanor offense of assault causes bodily injury of a family member. The DA's office is recommending upon your plea of guilty to that charge that your punishment be assessed at 143 days in the county jail. You would receive credit for all 143 days of time served. In addition, they're recommending the court assess a $500 fine, court cost in the amount of $270, reimbursement fees in the amount of $520, and restitution for inmate medical services that you received while you were in custody in the amount of $5,986.69. Mr. Dickerson, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Dickerson, how do you plead to assault causes bodily injury of a family member?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty to that crime because you are guilty of committing that crime?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Dickerson, has anybody threatened or forced you to plead guilty in court today?
No, sir.
All right, the court does accept the defendant's plea of guilt at this time. Mr. Schmidt, any objection to the stipulation of evidence?
No objection.
That is admitted, and the court takes judicial notice of the defendant's judicial confession. Anything further from the state?
Your Honor, the state is in compliance with victim contact, and she is supportive of this plea.
Thank you, Mr. Hartwell. Anything further from the defense?
No, sir.
All right, court will consider the evidence. All right, the court, having considered the evidence, finds that there is enough evidence to convict the defendant of this offense. The court will follow the plea agreement today. The court convicts John Franklin Dickerson of Class A misdemeanor assault causes bodily injury of a family member. The court assesses punishment for that crime at 143 days confinement in the county jail. The court awards him credit for 143 days time served. In addition, the court assesses a $500 fine, restitution in the amount of $5,986.69 to be reimbursed to the Van Zandt County Indigent Healthcare. In addition, the court orders him to reimburse Van Zandt County for $520 towards court-appointed attorney fees and other costs. In addition, the court assesses court costs of $270. The court finds that the DA's office is agreeing and asking the court to consider and dismiss an unfiled violation of bond or protective order, and also a filed charge of assault causes bodily injury of a family member in cause number 2025-94. Mr. Dickerson, you're hereby remanded to the custody of the sheriff so he can carry out the terms and conditions of the sentence. In just a moment, I'm going to have you come forward to be fingerprinted by Deputy Martinez. Do you know when you would be able to pay this money that you owe?
No, sir. I filed for they did my disability yesterday, so I'm waiting to hear from them or whatever. Other than that, I don't have any source of income.
What I want you to do then, and what I'm going to order you to do is after you are fingerprinted, then we'll get you a copy of this. And then I want you to step over here into the clerk's office and tell them you need to make a payment plan so you can start making payments on this to get it all reimbursed.
Yeah, that's the lady you talked
Where we
to.
come from, Margo.
All right,
Okay.
stay right there and we'll bring the fingerprint to you.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes. Right, this is cause number CR 24-121, State of Texas versus State of Scott Watson. Mr. Watson is represented by Mr. Eric Platt, pleaded not to on. Mr. Platt had since contacted the court to pay that bill. However, Mr. Watson, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have you come back, to Mr. Platt, you're good to him today.
I believe that's, his intention, Your Honor.
What I want you to do, Mr. Watson, is I'm gonna have you come back at about 2:30. My criminal docket will start at 1:30 out of the jail. It's gonna take us time to get all of that. So you just be over here. We might not start at 2:30. You'll just wait in the hallway. Everyone's through out there. Probably 2:30. That time. Mr. Hartwell, the assistant DA, has given you a copy of judgment, which your Platt is gonna call you or that get in contact. You can explain all that stuff over the phone. You won't sign it until you come back to court. Mr. Platt will sign his at his office. Once we get that, that's the copy you'll sign. So that's just for your review. Go over that with Mr. Platt. She won't actually sign it until you get back to court this afternoon.
All right, sir.
We'll see you back at 2:30. These doors will likely be locked. So just sit out in the hallway. We'll bring you ready.
Until 2:30?
At 2:30.
Okay.
So yeah, you're free to go now and just check back in out here about 2:30 and we'll get to you as soon as we can.
All right, yes, sir. Thank you.
And Mr. Hartwell, if you'll let Mr. Platt All right, that does conclude the court's criminal docket for the morning. We're going to adjourn until 1:30.